All right, we're live, and this is the season premiere, season 5 of Breaking BadCast. This is going to be the last one before we go on break. So we're discussing season 5, episode 1, Live Free or Die. And this episode was basically a Walt, Jesse, and the return of Mike in this episode.
Yes, Mike is back.
Mike is back.
I was like, yeah.
Yeah, so this
Okay.
episode was basically to clean up Walt's mess.
And Mike was still down in Mexico. He was feeding chickens,
That was great.
and there was one he named Wendell. He said, "If Wendell doesn't eat, nobody eats." And then the doctor who worked on him and Gus told him that Gus was dead, and he just immediately headed right back north.
Mike knew exactly what was going on. But before we do that, let's go to the teaser. And this teaser is a really foreshadowing, basically flash forward of what's yet to come.
Yeah, we see we see Walt. He's got a full head of hair, got a full beard, new glasses, kind of those black rimmed glasses. And he's at Denny's, and it's his birthday. He forms his bacon to the shape of 52.
Yeah.
So we can tell it's been 2 years since the show, because when the show began, it was 50.
Mm-hmm.
The bacon was shaped into the shape of 50. And it was that the bacon, he said, tasted like Band-Aids. Or was that Walt Jr. that said that?
It was Walt Jr.
Yeah, the bacon that tasted like Band-Aids. Yeah.
Now, has he already turned 51 at this point? Because I remember when Skylar did the thing and she gives him a little stub of bacon to be the one. Was that later in this season, or have we passed that?
I don't know. I think we may have passed that. I'm not sure. But but we know that this is flash forwarding.
Yeah.
Walt is actually waiting for Lawson. It's not Larson. It's Lawson.
Mm-hmm.
We said it was Larson. It's Lawson, the weapons dealer. Who
Yeah.
we will also see on Better Call Saul when we talk about Better Call Saul tonight. Also, the season finale. Yeah.
Ooh, that was a good season finale.
It was. Oh, I can't wait to talk about it too. So he goes in the bathroom. He's got some money in an envelope, and he goes. See what he did. What happened was before that, the waitress said, "What you doing there with the bacon?" And he says, "It's my birthday." She said, "Oh, happy birthday!"
Yeah, you get a free meal.
You get a free meal. It was Denny's. It was a Denny's, and you get a free meal at Denny's if it's your birthday. And he kind of hesitates at first, and he decides, what the heck? And he pulls out his wallet and gives her an ID, a false ID, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And she says,
but that's the same ID that the disappearer made for him later.
Yeah.
And we found out that he's going by the name Lambert.
Right, yeah. And then she says, "Is New Hampshire your boss?" He says, "Yeah, pretty close." And he's making a little small talk with her. He's talking about some kind of science institute in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And she mentions an aquarium that's in Boston as well. So anyway, Lawson comes in. Walt sees him come in. They go in the bathroom. He passes him some money. He asks him. He says, "What about instructions? And is there a manual or is there an instruction manual?" Mm-hmm. And Lawson says, "Well, I pulled something off the internet." So yeah. So we're wondering, what's he talking about? So Walt goes. He puts like a 20. I think it was a 20.
$100 bill.
$100 bill under the plate. He's walking out, and the waitress says, "Happy birthday, Mr." Hey, Ellen.
Hi there.
There's Ellen. Yeah, we're just talking about the teaser for Live Free or Die, and that is a big leap for what's yet to come. This teaser
So we see him go out. He goes out to his car, which has a New Hampshire tag. He takes his bag out of the trunk.
And then it's
And
the
and
M60.
he's got the keys. He's got the keys. He's got the
Mhm.
keys. It has the where you click it, and it
Figure out
it
which
sets
car
off
it
the
is.
horn.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's trying to figure out which car it was. He finally figures it out. It's this burgundy car, and he goes and okay, and he goes and he opens the trunk, and there's the M60 in there.
And
It's got a
just
little
slam,
instruction
and that's that.
manual. Yeah,
He's got his hair. He's changed his name. He's come from New Hampshire. He's taken meds. He's 52.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. He was
And
taking some kind of medication. Yeah.
yep. And
Now was that? Now I'm wondering if that was for his. I mean, what exactly was that for? I'm wondering.
The
he was
meds.
taking cancer meds or maybe
Yeah.
Cancer.
anti.
Oh,
The
cancer.
cancer returned. Remember?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, his cancer is returned.
Could have been like anti-nausea meds and things like that. Because he was doing chemo
Yeah.
up at the. Oops.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard not to spoil. I'm sorry.
Well, it is a big flash forward of what's yet to come.
It is. Right. Yeah.
And and they leave us wondering, okay, how do we get here? And
Mhm.
and then they just go right back to, they even repeat some
Mhm.
of the end of season 4's finale in the phone
Yeah.
call.
Yeah. I won.
And she, immediately suspects it's him.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, she does.
And the contrast between their expressions, she's not looking very happy. She's looking a little scared, and he is just so pleased with himself. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Bryan Cranston's acting there. He was never more pleased with himself ever in his life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's actually got 2 projects coming out. He's got All the Way, which is going to be on HBO, where he plays LBJ.
Mhm.
And he's got a new movie coming out called The Infiltrator, which is going to be coming out this summer. I saw the trailer for it.
Cool.
Yeah, it looks good.
But this whole episode was basically Walt cleaning up his mess. Um, as soon as he gets home, he takes all the bomb making stuff and just dumps it. Takes the Lily of the Valley and dumps it. Then he realizes
Yeah.
that, oh shit, there are security cameras in the meth lab.
Yeah.
So he
Right.
had to
Because,
figure out a way to infiltrate and get Gus's laptop.
That scene where he's cleaning up is so great, with Dave Porter's music and sound effects. It's like all like tense and riled up, and just speed, like get this done, and then it chills out, and you even hear like the sound of dimple pinch pouring, um, and then all of a sudden, and the music ramps up again. And if we didn't get it in the first place, he gets rid of a particular plant for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Lily of the Valley, right, yeah. Yeah, and then, we cut to Hank and Gomi down in the lab because they found the burned out lab.
Do you know that was their most
And, I mean, there's
expensive set ever?
Oh, really?
They
really.
had to reconstruct a burnt down lab from scratch, and yeah, they even put it. It was even in the script. They said
Nice.
Huh.
that it was going to be pretty expensive to do. Yeah,
Now,
interesting.
of course, there's not much. There's not much really left. At least at first glance, there's really not much left. There's a couple of bodies, and that's about it.
That they can't identify.
Yeah.
Right, they can't identify them.
And the camera is just
Gomi's
burned
like,
out.
okay. Gomi's like, okay, now you get to say I told you so. Are you going to say I
Get
told
it
you
out
so?
before you need dialysis or something. Get it out of
Get it out of
your
your
system.
system. Yeah, get it out of your system. Yeah.
But Hank doesn't play that game.
But Hank's like, no. Yeah.
he's looking, camera.
And he spots the burnt out camera. He realizes, oh, wait a second, that could give us a clue as to who. And, Hank made mention that it was that the lab was exactly as Gail Bedecker had drawn it.
Yeah, they're not going to let us forget Gail. They're not letting us forget Gail.
No. Yeah, I thought that was a great touch for him to mention Gail like that.
Yeah, Hank was so right.
He was. He
Yeah.
was. So
Yeah,
then,
okay,
like
yeah,
I say,
that scene
Walt
was immediately
realizes.
after Walt. That scene, by the way, when he comes in and Skylar's just, she's scared. She doesn't want to be in the same room. She doesn't know what really to do at this point. But with Holly, that baby and Bryan Cranston pulled off a seriously sweet scene. I have to,
Yeah, they did.
And she touches his
He
face,
did,
and then she
yeah.
holds his finger, and it was really, really sweet. But then you notice
Yeah.
Walt looks like he's really alone, even though he's with Holly, and he toasts to his own reflection in the mirror, the closet door mirror, because his wife isn't feeling as celebratory as he is.
And Skylar even remarks saying that, I'm afraid of you.
Yeah. And she does have a completely different demeanor right now with him.
Yeah.
And she's kind of cowering like Saul will.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you're the scary guy. I don't want to piss you off. Got me.
So let's see. Does the Skylar Saul scene and Ted scene?
Yeah, Ted comes back.
I can't remember. No, but does that come before we see Mike down in Mexico, and then Mike?
You see Mike first, and then it's Saul.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so Mike.
We see Mike.
Mike returns in this
episode. Yeah, Mike's down in Mexico. He's feeding chickens, and one of them's named Wendell, and he says, "Hey, if one of you doesn't eat, no one eats." He's. And then the doctor tells him that Gus is dead. He realizes what's going on. He's zooming right back to Albuquerque. And who does he come? Who comes in the opposite direction?
Oh, that was
Walt and Jesse.
That was
Walt and Jesse.
The two cars almost head on to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
perfect scene.
Yeah.
And Mike is just ready to kill him.
Yeah, if Jesse wasn't there, Mike would have just shoot Walt right there. But Jesse being the a guy that brings everybody together was like, hey man, hear him out, listen to what he has to say.
Yeah, that was great. Just like, whoa, wait a minute, Mike.
Jesse respects both of them, Walt and Mike.
Yeah, and Mike has a respect for Jesse. He respects Jesse.
And he's like, oh, honest to God, what's with you guys? What is it with you guys?
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
And Walt, is really, Vince in this commentary was talking about how he's badass, that even his Band-Aid was badass. And he held himself with so much confidence, and he showed no fear.
Mm-hmm.
Even when Mike was pointing a gun at him. And then with Saul, he will take on Gus.
Yeah.
And just be that silent, scary, glaring thing.
Yeah. So let's see. Basically, Walt realizes that they've got to figure out where the laptop is and how to get it, because Hank and them have already figured out. Oh yeah, the laptop probably has the incriminating information on it. Yeah, surveillance footage. Mm-hmm. They confiscate it, and then I believe. Let's see. We do see.
Then Mike goes and fakes a call to the police department to find out if they have the laptop or not. And this is the moment where Jesse's like, "Hey, how about a big magnet?"
Yeah, we
Yeah.
see Walt and Mike arguing, trying to figure out, because maybe setting a bomb or something. Jesse's like, well, what about a big magnet? And they're still arguing and arguing. Hey, what about a magnet?
And they said that filming that scene was the crosstalk was made possible by the fact that they were all in view in the one camera shot with Jesse in the background and the
Mhm.
other two going at it, and that a well-trained actor doesn't do crosstalk overlapping dialogue very well, and they have to be encouraged to. They're used to talking and then pausing so that the other person, which is the kind of acting that I wish directors wouldn't make them do, because that is way more believable.
Yeah.
It's way more
Yeah,
realistic. And
yeah,
there's Jesse, like,
I agree. Yeah. I mean, that was a great scene. Jesse's trying to say,
Mhm.
hey, that's why he's going to say, hey, old guys, what about a magnet?
there'll be a couple of times where Jesse comes up with the right answer.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
forget what the other one is, but I think this is the first big one.
Yeah, this is a change
yeah,
in Jesse. Him speaking out now.
yeah,
I think this is the first
it
time he's actually
is.
spoke out and gave an actual legitimate idea.
And got, yeah,
Yeah,
and yeah, legitimate. And he got that respect for that idea from,
Hmm.
the people he wants it from most, Mike and Walt, you know, and, he wants
yep,
this to work. And
yep.
Jesse's
So,
realizing he's smart.
Yeah.
yep. Yeah. So Saul comes to see Skylar at the car
Then we got
wash.
to do yeah, bitch magnets.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah, let's do it.
But
Yeah, they go to the
they get to the
they go to the
junkyard
junkyard.
and they test this
Old
whole thing
Joe.
out.
They go see
Hmm.
they go see old Joe. They
And
want to see old
they
Joe who
test this
destroyed the.
out. They test the whole magnet thing out to a success, which I was hoping MythBusters would do this one. 'Cause I really want to
I
see
thought
Oh
they
this.
did.
yeah,
They did not do this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Hmm.
they did not. I want to see if this is actual, if you can actually do this.
oh yeah. I mean that was cool. I mean, yeah, like I said, they went to see old Joe, the same guy who
Hmm.
destroyed the crystal ship
Mm-hmm.
for them. Played by Larry Hankin, aka all the Seinfeld fans know him as TV Kramer. Remember when Jerry and George wrote the pilot, and they were trying to hire actors to play the different parts,
Hmm.
and they hired this guy to play Kramer. It was that was the same guy. They get a truck, and like I said, they test it, and of course,
So
they
Franny
classic
says
like,
the
yeah,
guy's like
bitch, magnets.
the guy's like check in and make sure nobody's got any metal in them, and he's
Oh, you
like,
uh-huh.
artificial hips, and looks at Mike, and or
Your head.
piercings.
you,
Looks
Oh
at
yeah.
Jesse.
Prick Pearson.
Like, why are you looking at me?
That was funny.
Metal plates in your head. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it works, and I think was it after they tested, wasn't that where Saul came to see Skylar?
Yes, that's when Solon says
Yeah,
that the return of Ted, he got out of his coma,
yeah,
he's awake. At first, Skylar
We
thought he was
think
dead.
he's dead. We
She
think
thinks
he's
he's
yeah.
dead.
dead.
Skylar thought he was dead, but he wasn't. He was in the hospital with one of those halos. They call them halos. Those things that they put on your head when you break your neck.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's in bad
And
shape.
yeah, he's alive, but he's got a broken neck.
And she
And
visits him in the hospital, and he says
mhm.
that all I told him was that I fell. That's all I know, which is really what Jesse said. I woke up, I saw her.
Uh-huh.
That's all I know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
But at first, when she comes in, she's really genuinely upset about his condition, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
But
because
when
we only see
she
her
doesn't
reaction.
solicit
Hmm.
this from him, this
Yeah.
fear,
Yeah,
and
we only see her at first. The camera's on her. We only see her reaction. We don't even
Hmm.
see Ted yet.
yeah.
We see her reaction, and then
But
they finally show what Ted looks like. So
Well, when Saul came in, it said that when Saul came in and she thought he died, she was really upset as well in that
mhm,
scene.
yeah,
And she was even
yeah,
more
she
upset, like you
was.
said, Ellen, in the hospital.
yeah, and she didn't solicit any fear reaction from him,
Hmm.
or promise you'll never say anything. He volunteered that, and as soon as he did, she took advantage of it,
Yeah.
and she did her Mrs. Heisenberg because she's protecting the family by
Hmm.
keeping the secret
Mhm.
from the kids. And this is where she steps off and does her own Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
With that running theme being for the family, I mean, it's just
She
like,
understands why Walt is doing it
Mhm.
and why Walt likes it.
well, it's also even a worse secret now.
Hmm.
It's not just your dad cooked meth and was like a kingpin, but he murdered a lot of people. He set off that bomb in that nursing home.
Hmm.
This is something she can't ever bring herself to let Junior ever know. This Walt's gonna die, and Junior's gonna have loving memories of a good father and a good
Hmm.
person, and Holly will have been told about how wonderful her father was, with maybe some memories.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
and that's what she wants. She just wants to keep it under the rug until he dies and it goes away.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
that was kind of that was bad girl stuff. The way she jumped on that with Ted, just good.
yeah, yeah,
Well, as long as you're scared of me, okay, good.
yeah. So next is when we see we
The
see
whole
Mike.
the whole heist.
Yeah, I mean Mike, of course, going into stealthy guy mode. I mean, he's
It's Mike mode. Mike mode
first.
all the
He's
way.
Yeah,
spraying
Mike
wasp
mode. Yeah.
spray. It's wasp spray that he sprays on the camera.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
really?
Yeah, and
Wow.
they said that they really do that. Burglars really do that because, first of all, it shoots a long distance. It's designed to be far from the nest.
Hmm.
And it does a really good job of sticking to the lens and obscuring it. So, yeah, it's a
Wow.
burglar's camera disabler of choice.
Hmm.
That's
So that was kind
cool.
of interesting. And then the
And then he
electrical
man,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, he took out the electrical fence and he put a little device on it
Oh,
so it would
yeah.
open up.
That was great. I mean,
Oh, okay.
this is the mic. Yeah, this is the mic we're used to seeing on Better Call Saul. Also,
We're
the
getting there. We're getting to see that Mike. He's not fully Mike yet. He's semi
yeah,
there on Better
What do
Call
you mean?
Saul.
yeah,
Oh,
on
oh,
yeah,
oh,
Yeah.
oh.
yeah. I mean, it's just awesome. I mean,
But,
this is a great scene with him disabling the electric fence,
hmm.
and then the truck drives in there, and they turn on the magnet. And Walt is gradually, working it up, inching it up.
Yeah, then he does it to the maximum voltage.
It
And
starts and it's a very slow thing. It starts with the computers,
hmm.
and then a couple of things fall, and then a few things are moving, light fixtures from the ceiling are kind of, you know, and then all of a sudden the tricycle first, and they
Oh,
did
yeah,
some of that with
yeah.
CGI and some of that with just fishing line that they edited out.
Mm-hmm.
like pull things to make it look like the magnet. Yeah, it totally worked. Of course, these guys on the outside don't know how well they did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then with Walt making the truck go,
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
it looked like a hairy situation, like maybe they were going to get caught.
Yeah,
It
and then
did.
Walt
Yeah.
Walt was like, "Hold on a minute, hold on a minute." Now that reminds me of the future episode Dead Freight, where he says, "Wait, wait, wait." You know, he's
Yeah,
buying his time, going wait until the very last minute to do
pushing
anything.
it
Uh,
because
He's pushing,
he's the
yes.
yeah.
man.
He
Yeah.
was. He was.
Mm. And then when they
But
do
of
it,
course, you know,
because I say so,
Yes,
yeah.
that was like
that
he's
line right
got
there.
he has got some lines in this episode
Yeah,
where he's just like, I'm king now.
yeah, that
Uh-huh.
line right there really changed Walt in this whole season, just by that one line.
Yeah. It did. It did. It was
I
just that
won.
dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
That was the
It
first
really
one.
changed. It really changes Walt's dynamic. I think his personality really changes.
It's over when I say it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
I for,
yeah.
I forgive you. You know, he's got a bunch of them in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. He does.
But they think all is well until they come across a picture with some information on it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's
It
gonna
was a
open
picture
up
of Gus.
Gus and
It was a picture of
Max.
Gus and his Max.
Max
Yeah, his
Hmm.
partner. Because the cops said that's not on the manifest.
and banking info. Cayman Island banking,
Yeah.
Uh
right?
huh. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yep.
So this is a whole other can of worms that they didn't even know about.
Hmm.
Yep.
And I think we're led to believe. Well, actually, I guess we know this that they did destroy the computer, and that there was no retrievable data.
Yeah, they did. They destroyed the computer because they said the screen was damaged and something else was damaged.
Yeah, and magnetic force that strong would erase the drive, would
Hmm.
wipe it. So yeah, done. And Jesse knew that. Yeah, if it can suck you across the room, it can erase it. That's for
But
sure.
Mm-hmm.
I would really like this. I really wish that MythBusters would have done this one. See how accurate it was.
Yeah. They of course they did do the one with the machine gun in the trunk,
Hmm.
and Vince Gilligan was on that episode.
Yeah, that was confirmed too. It was plausible, actually.
It
It could have
was.
happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Erasing notes as
And
we
let's see.
go.
And then we see Walt. He goes to see Saul. Um, and
Well, he goes to
Saul
see
is
Skylar first, right? Earlier,
goes to see who?
he
No,
goes
he,
to
he
see.
goes, he sees Saul, and Saul explains what's going on with Ted
Mm,
Oh,
and
okay.
why he gave,
Oh, right.
yeah.
Earlier, yeah. And yeah, even in that scene, they were talking a lot about production. They had like the transportation captain, and like Skylar's office is a set inside another set, and the cars have to do all these. They have to do all these safety things, like empty out the tanks,
Hmm.
no gas tanks, and that between the junkyard and just the car wash, there's so many safety things that they have to do. Production is just so
yeah.
mind-boggling.
Yeah, it's like a movie set.
Yes, it's like a giant long movie.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, Saul thinks he's really talking Walt down pretty well.
Yeah.
And Bryan Cranston was talking about how he made sure that he just did that very still, calm, but fierce
Hmm.
look like us and let, Saul do all the flailing around.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Saul basically thinks he's got a good reason. Like, look, we dealt with this rice and cigarette, and kid ended up in the hospital. We're done. It's over.
Oh yeah.
And then,
And of course, Walt with that.
Walt was like, "We're done when I say we're done."
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I mean,
that great line.
the arrogance of Walt in this, it
And
worked
then,
together
yeah,
Yeah,
so
the
so.
menace, the
yeah, he's
the
also,
menace in his voice. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
and Saul's seriously scared.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he's become Gus, maybe even way
mhm.
better than Gus.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's Saul. He's more of a lover than a fighter, so we know Saul's not going to fight necessarily.
But yeah, he's by now Saul totally regrets this client.
Mm-hmm.
He does. He
There's some
does.
things that no amount of money is worth.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
that's pretty much it in the Live Free or Die episode.
Well, I
Weird
remember he
only
goes to
episode.
see Skylar. He went to see Skylar after that, and he says, "I forgive you,"
Oh yeah, he was like,
because
Oh
that's
yeah, that was purposeful the way they did that. That was one of those I won because I said so type of things.
mm-hmm.
uh-huh.
Like, I forgive you. And it's like, really? Really? Because, if she
Uh-huh.
weren't scared of him, she'd be like, how about I forgive you? You know?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
But she just. And Brian joked about how she was really into that. You can see how much she's into this. She's just melting for him into his arms. And this is the beginning of where she starts to feel like she's a hostage.
Yeah. Yeah.
His Walt's
That's
ego
true.
is blown to its max right now, and it's going to take a while to deflate.
Yeah.
But the Dimple Pinch whiskey, which is only one appearance in this episode, they use it because it's Vince's girlfriend's father's favorite whiskey, or was his favorite whiskey. So
Ooh,
that's why Dimple
cool.
Pinch. Yeah.
Yeah, and notice he doesn't have ice in it, but when Mike dies, he puts ice in it.
Right.
Hmm. Oh, spoiler alert. That's going to come later.
I know, it's hard not to
I
spoil.
know. All right, I think we covered pretty much on that episode, and now let's
Yeah.
go into Better Call Saul. I liked it. I really
Oh,
did.
yes.
I liked this season
This was
finale.
a great season finale. It
Vince
really
Gilligan
was.
wrote it, and Vince Gilligan directed it.
And directed, yes. It was excellent. And the teaser really sets it up very well. We see Jimmy sitting in the hospital room,
Hmm.
and you think it's present time.
Yeah, I thought
You
so
think
too.
it's
I
present
really did.
time.
I thought it was present time. And then they
Yeah, I thought
move
he
the
was sitting there.
camera, and it's Chuck and Jimmy, and it's their mother in that hospital bed.
Yeah, yep, yep. And so
Oh yeah.
they're talking, and Jimmy suggests, let's go get a sandwich, let's go get something to eat, and Chuck is like, no, no, you go, or you go get me something or whatever.
Hmm.
And Jimmy says, what do you want? He tells him, and he goes, and oh man, this scene,
Yeah. So
Chuck is sitting there all of a
as
sudden.
soon Jimmy left, his mother wakes up and asks for
Twice.
Yeah,
him. Wife.
Yeah. And then,
which Chuck wasn't
yeah,
too happy with.
no.
No, I mean
I
Chuck.
mean,
He's the jealous brother.
and when he
Yeah, he
doesn't
is.
tell Jimmy about that, it's not to spare Jimmy's feelings.
Hmm.
It's it's vindictive. He doesn't want him to know that his mother called for him. And
Yeah.
that's just it's so immature. It means things are what they are. You
Hmm.
just,
Well, I
you
mean,
know.
it just shows right there how much of a prick Chuck is.
Now,
Mm.
I'm going to predict. I think this is going to be used again probably in season 3, 4, maybe. That Chuck's going to be like, when Mother died, she called for you, just like what Walt said to Jesse about Jane. He was there when
Oh
Jane died.
yeah,
I think I
yeah.
think they're going to use that again.
I think so. I think so too. Yeah.
I think they're going to use it
So
again, and Chuck's going to bring it up in Jimmy's face.
yeah, I think
Because I mean,
so.
he can. I mean, there's two ways. There's like two-edged sword. One way is he doesn't want Jimmy to know how much he meant to his mother. You know that she called
Yeah.
him, but he can use it to hurt him.
Yeah,
You stepped out. She wanted you. She called you, but you were getting a sandwich. You've
right.
always been selfish
Yeah.
and stupid and bumbling and
I mean, just
whatever.
Oh
imagine Michael
yeah.
Keaton delivering that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now,
And
I
then
only
let's
watched
see.
it once,
That
but
that
I
was
don't
the
remember. Was
teaser.
there any Kim in this episode?
Yeah,
Uh,
she was in this one.
she was. I think she was in the
Yeah.
hospital with. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Remember they saw the commercial, remember?
Oh yeah, the commercial.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, she was in
Gimme
the
Jimmy.
hospital, Jimmy.
And she's pleased. Yeah.
Yeah, gimme
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy. I
Yeah,
love
that
that.
was awesome. Whole flag thing. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Oh,
this.
yeah,
He's really setting Saul up. He's
Hmm.
got He's got his method of
Shane and I were
operation.
like, I hope we see the commercial. I hope we
Oh,
see
I
the
was hoping we see
commercial.
the
And we
commercial too.
did.
I was hoping they delivered on
Yeah.
that.
I know, it was great.
Well, you know who they considered pulling into the hospital scenes?
Oh yes, I've heard Marie. Marie was supposed to make
Yeah,
a
Bessie
return
Pratt.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they
Yeah.
decided it wouldn't be
I,
good that scene, and I agree.
They said
I
it would
would.
have distracted the
Hmm.
viewers away from Chuck at a
Yeah,
time when you really seriously wanted to focus on Chuck. She even agreed with that.
yeah,
She said,
I
"I'd
agree
love to
too.
come back." She's like, "I'll come. I don't know what she said. She's just always joking around. I'll come and clean toilets. Just whatever. I want to be part of it. You know." Like,
Yeah, I
yeah.
agree with that. I think it would have taken too much away because people would be like, "Oh, there's Marie, there's Marie, there's Marie."
I mean, and she'd have to be Marie, do something
Uh-huh.
Marie,
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
yeah, it would have been a distraction.
Yeah,
But man, I still sort of wish they did. You know, I don't want to just toss characters in willy nilly, was how Vince
no,
put it. They want to make sure
Yeah.
that it's
it has to
functional.
fit. It has to fit in with the scene,
It
Yeah.
does. It
and
has to make sense.
mhm.
It
and
has to make
Marie just
sense.
being there, you know. I
Yeah.
mean, it would have worked, but it would have been a huge distraction, like they said, because people would be
It
more on
would have.
Marie. Yeah,
It would have, yeah. So let's see. We come back from the teaser and we
they're in.
see,
We pick up right off last week. They're outside the
yeah,
hobby
we're
store,
Mm-hmm.
and
and
Jimmy just
Jimmy
rushes
blows his
in,
cover.
Yep.
blows his cover.
Yeah,
He's still doing the right thing.
Hmm. And it goes to show how much he loves Chuck.
Mm-hmm. He
yep,
is a loyal brother. He
Hmm.
won't lock him up, although he's got, you know, all Chuck's medical history is an easy admission.
Hmm.
Let's,
yeah,
put it that way. Make a phone call, it's done.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, Jimmy could have made the argument to have Chuck committed. He could have said, if he really wanted to, but he didn't want to do that.
I
He
think we're going to
almost
see
did.
Chuck getting committed. I really
He
do. I think we're
almost.
going to see Chuck getting committed.
We'll see how this plays out.
Hmm.
You know.
And I love the camera work when they were taking Chuck into the ER. They have
Yes,
him upside down.
the point of
They
view
had Chuck
shot.
upside down.
Which is
Yeah,
another reason Marie just wouldn't fit
Hmm.
at that point in that scene.
Yeah,
Maybe
because
that was
somebody
the
will.
scene.
at this point, you think that Chuck's going to die.
Yeah. I mean, that was a great camera shot, with
Hmm.
the camera right on him and he's upside down.
Well, he was conscious when he was
Made
brought
me.
in.
Yeah, he was. He was conscious.
Yeah,
And
he
that
was.
right there, I was surprised because that hit could
Hmm.
have been devastating. You know, if it weren't
Yeah.
a head injury, it could have been a broken neck.
Yeah. And then what else I like was the EMTs, because mostly in TV shows the EMTs is all frantic and yelling and screaming. Here they're all, well, they're supposed to be normal and calm.
That's what they said, that they did that on purpose
Hmm.
because it is exaggerated on the TV shows sometimes, and a lot of
Yeah,
times.
I mean, in real life, they try and reassure you. See,
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain
and
situations that get tense, but
it made
things
it
that
it
they're
made
used
it.
to doing all the time and they know how to treat and they know exactly what to do,
Hmm.
that's, yeah.
It made it more realistic that the way they did that. It made it more realistic to the way EMTs really are.
I mean, Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul is one of the most two realistic shows on television.
They are, yeah.
I mean, but not only that, that Ernesto,
Oh,
there's a
yeah.
he
Covered,
lies for him. He
yeah.
covers for him.
Ernesto lied for Jimmy. I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
and
from
that
then on,
surprised me.
Chuck has me fooled.
hmm
Uh huh.
Everything from then on is Chuck
yeah,
manipulating, but I'm buying it all the way up to the very last thing we see.
yeah. Uh,
My roommate watching with me was not. He was smarter than me. Figured that out.
hmm
But Chuck had me, although I was predicting, I'm like, Chuck making a mistake is going to be unacceptable to him, and it's going to be a sign of his demise
yeah,
because he is that precise. You
hmm
know,
Yeah.
and he's like, I just thought you'd think you made a mistake like a normal person and move on like everybody does.
hmm
But Chuck is Chuck, and this just doesn't happen. And the
That's
you know thing is, if it were sloppy, like sometimes it was 12:16 and sometimes it was 12:61,
hmm
that would seem really sloppy. But the fact that it was perfectly wrong
hmm
throughout the entire document is actually indicative of like a thoroughness in work and an efficiency in work. It was just that initial mistake carried through, but they were consistent with it because yeah. But even that kind of mistake, maybe he could have handled that.
I don't know,
But
because if you remember when we see him play the piano and he makes that tiny mistake, he gets mad, he gets angry at himself, and he hits him in the head, and he hits himself in the head. I don't.
mm,
I think Chuck's the type of guy, and I said this before. He's a perfectionist. He doesn't like to make
Hmm.
mistakes. He doesn't want to
Yeah.
make mistakes.
Right. Yeah. I think so. He wants to make sure he gets everything just right.
Hmm.
yeah, and
So let's
Jimmy
see.
will
Meanwhile,
do anything right now.
Hmm.
we have this parallel storyline going on with Mike,
Yeah.
Oh,
where he's learning how to shoot this large rifle, and Lawson is helping him out with that.
Mm-hmm.
hmm yeah. And so we get to Mike, and he's right there. He can kill Hector if he wanted to. But the
Hmm.
He's got
problem
a different
was,
car.
yeah,
He had a station wagon,
Yep. Yep.
and he went from a distance, and he set his
mhm,
sights.
yeah. But the problem was is that Nacho was directly right in the line of fire, and he could not kill
Hmm.
Nacho.
I wondered. It looked almost like he was going to take the shot anyway.
I thought so too.
You know.
But I like the camera work. They said they actually took a camera and put it up to the scope and looked out at it, which is great.
Yeah.
Genius on their part.
Yeah.
Nice.
Film scope. They actually filmed through the scope. Yeah, they actually did, which I thought was pretty cool.
Hmm. And the shack reminded me of Tuco's shack.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
They said they
I
was
think.
going to use Tuco's, but it was so worn down
Mhm.
that they couldn't, so they have to rebuild it.
Yeah, that was like
Yeah.
it was in way worse shape than it was last time. It was needing
Hmm.
repair, and they couldn't repair it, so they had to. But that's
Yeah,
okay.
because they had this guy. I don't know who the guy was supposed to be,
It was the
but
ice
they
cream
had this
trucker.
guy.
Yeah, the
Oh, that was
driver.
the driver.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, it was the driver, the cousins, Hector, Nacho, and the dude that was digging the grave.
Yeah.
yeah.
And they just shoot him.
Oh, he
And
could
Got
have
I
took
mean,
them all
Mike
out
was
if he
thinking
wanted to.
about it, but yeah, he could have. But then we hear his horn honking,
Hmm.
and he goes back and he finds a note. All the note says is "don't."
And whose voice did you hear that in?
Oh, completely Gus.
Mhm.
Gus.
Yeah,
But
yeah, definitely.
Vince Gilligan brought up a good fact that he said that Gus uses these feelers, these people, so he doesn't have to do the work himself.
Oh yeah.
So
He's the
Yeah,
man behind the curtain,
yeah, he's the Wizard of Oz
yeah,
behind this.
and you get somebody else to go do all this.
So could this be Victor?
maybe, yeah, or maybe
Yeah.
Tyrus. Maybe it's either Victor or
Yeah, it can't be
Tyrus.
Tyrus because Tyrus comes in Breaking Bad. We don't know Tyrus yet. He comes in after Victor.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I think he does.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if
Yeah.
he was.
Yeah,
I don't know. How about Kubi and Huel?
he would be working for Gus.
Oh no. Yeah, I'm getting things wrong.
No,
That's
no, they.
okay. I'm sorry, I'm confused. Saul.
It's
um,
guaranteed. It's going to be Gus. And if we don't see Gus, we're going to see some of his people that he
I just
works.
wonder about Victor because I think he'd be very young, but it's still possible.
Hmm.
The anagram of all 10 episodes this season brings back.
Confirmed.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
confirmed.
in a way, he kind of was, even if we didn't see him.
No, I mean like confirmed as in they said we did that. We didn't,
Yeah, they
and we
did that on purpose.
didn't think people would figure it out.
Yeah,
But
'cause,
Ernesto, he kind of looks like Gus. He might be
he
his
does a little
son.
bit.
Might be his
Yeah.
son. And they never released the last name of Ernesto.
No.
We just know
Oh
him by the first
my.
name.
Really? That would be weird.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So Chuck has to have a CAT scan,
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
and they send him through there, and he's freaking out and everything like that. And when he comes out, he's in a catatonic state.
Or was he?
Yeah, he was in a coma, stress
Okay,
coma.
because I don't even know when he's faking or being real.
Yeah, I
Good
know.
point.
Was he faking it or was it real?
You never know. Because he pulled off some other stuff that was convincing.
Hmm.
Well, I think the doctor did mention that this is probably most likely psychosomatic, this
Yeah,
condition.
Hmm.
And by the way, that actress was in the movie called The Faculty.
and that's the same doctor from the first season too.
Yes,
When
yes.
Chuck was the very first time in the hospital.
Her name is Clea Duvall. Her name is Clea Duvall, the
Hmm.
actress that played the doctor. Yeah, and that was Chuck's doctor from season 1. Yeah,
All
and of
right, let's
course,
see here.
The same
Same
hospital. So
hospital. Yeah.
yeah,
All right, and then
So sorry, Chuck is playing this whole thing out. He's sent this resignation letter.
hmm
oh yeah,
Phone calls are flying. People are flipping out, and you know. And Jimmy goes over there and had been there at first, and why do I keep saying Gus? Chuck's under his blanket. He's looking all frail, and I just want to be alone, which makes sense. And as soon as Jimmy leaves, he jumps up and he's rummaging through the garage, and
yeah, he's looking for something in the garage, and we're wondering, what is he looking for in the garage?
and he snags something relatively small, but we don't see what it is, and
Yeah.
next thing we know, he's redecorating with, space blankets all over
Yeah.
the room. Really, really going off the deep end. And I really thought he was. I thought he felt like he'd been through so much electricity that he really, really needed extra protection. I wasn't putting it together with the garage.
Well, he was talking about.
And what's interesting about Chuck's garage is that it's all the appliances that he had torn out that was electrical.
Yeah.
Stored in his garage. I thought that was great. That was great. At first, I thought he was going to get into a car or something.
Because he does want to get back to a life where he can deal with electricity. But, whether he actually has a medical condition or it's in his head, I don't know. He seems pretty screwed up to me from some of the other things, including that scene in the beginning.
Yeah, well, he mentioned about, he said, my God, do you realize that these radio waves and all this electric stuff can even come through the walls of the house?
Right.
No, I don't know if that was part of his grand master plan or what. I don't know.
I mean, we're seeing Slippin' Chuck here.
Yeah, Slippin' Chucky.
And Jimmy keeps, giving, he managed, he was there, he managed to sort of cover himself about it. He said, oh yeah, that's right, no, Ernie did that. He said, yeah, Ernie called me. No, Ernie said I called him. So that was all taken care of, because that was the first thing when he runs across the street and into that place.
Oh yeah, right.
Ernie said that he called Jimmy.
He's willing to blow his cover. Now he's being asked about this document thing. And
his resignation, right?
Yeah, and he's trying to help Chuck without giving things away that would mess things up, but he, without thinking about it for very long, actually tells him he actually did it.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, we do see Jimmy Kim's office. And we see these elderly people waiting to see Jimmy.
Oh my God, yeah. And they are slow.
Because there's no receptionist. Everybody wants coffee. Some people want coffee.
Donuts.
So Jimmy's having donuts. So Jimmy's having Kim provide coffee and donuts because there's no receptionist.
And they take longer. They will sit there and talk. They've got some time.
You notice there was this big painting of a rainbow on one of the walls.
Yeah, I saw that.
Is that left over from the dentist?
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't think Jimmy or Kim would have something like that in their office. So.
And what I thought was great was that Jimmy stuck by the bedside at the hospital, and he refused to leave. And I think he's worried that it's going to end up like his mom. If he leaves, Chuck is going to die. So he stays there until Chuck wakes up from his coma. Possibly fake coma.
Possibly fake coma, yeah.
And he doesn't appreciate, Chuck does not appreciate any of this from Jimmy. At all. It is bizarre. I mean, if not for Jimmy, who in this world would love Chuck and take care of Chuck?
Because basically Chuck is trying to guilt Jimmy into confessing, because I think he knew, Jimmy had to have something to do with that. And
Chuck was dead on. he was dead on as soon as he was talking to Kim last week about why
Yeah,
Jimmy did it, and he was dead
yeah.
on saying that Jimmy, you was there before me. You came after Ernesto and paid off the copy guy, and that's why he said no, he wasn't there. Chuck was dead on.
Mm-hmm. And,
He
and
was.
Jimmy even told him that
Hmm.
because I'm sitting there watching it and I'm like, oh, poor Chuck's gonna be like, I'm losing my mind. I can't be a lawyer anymore. And I was taking that as being sincere when he was doing it, but he was playing it
Hmm.
to get that. And Jimmy
Confession out of
loves
him.
his brother so much. He's like, you don't know how perfectly dead on you are about everything.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
You didn't make a mistake. You're sharp as ever. He
Yeah.
did that to restore his brother's confidence.
He did.
Hmm.
He he
And
did he did he didn't want
ooh,
his brother to have a mental breakdown. So that's why he confessed. Yeah, of
I
course, little did
should
he
have let
know.
him. Should have let him have one. Or maybe this can be played off in the future. There's lots of directions this could go.
Yeah, there is. And then you
I mean,
see the epic cliffhanger. Chuck takes the metal space blanket off, and you see that Chuck was recording everything.
yep, it was a tape recorder. He went and retrieved out of the garage.
Hmm.
Mm. Right after the whole conversation about, you just admitted to a felony. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's your word against mine. And then he leaves, and then click.
Yeah, I mean, oh my God, what I mean, yeah, we're gonna keep harping on this. Walking Dead producers, take note.
Yeah.
This is how you do a
This is how
cliffhanger.
you do a cliffhanger. Man, I can't
This
Yeah.
is
believe
how you do it.
I cannot wait until season 3. Like you said, Alan,
This is how you do a season finale.
there's so many directions they can take this.
And yes, it is legal to tape somebody without their permission or knowledge in New Mexico, as long as you're not doing it for commercial gain.
Yeah.
So,
Uh-huh.
Well, it just depends on the state too.
right, and in Mexico, it happens to be perfectly legal.
Hmm.
So, what Chuck is doing is perfectly legal because as long as it's not for commercial gain.
Hmm.
So, he can use this. He can get Jimmy in serious trouble. Then again, this is where Jimmy can start fighting back and play the my brother is insane card.
Yeah.
Because one of the parts of this conversation was when when Jimmy admits it, Chuck says, "Are you just saying that to make me feel better?" And Jimmy says, "Of course I'm saying it to make you feel better." And I actually did it.
Hmm.
But Jimmy could
Yeah.
but Jimmy could claim he was just trying to take care of his fragile brother and
But at the
restore
end,
his
before he
confidence.
leaves, he said, "It's your word against mine."
Right. And yeah, but there's a tape that Jimmy doesn't know about.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I mean, if he can't use it legally, there's one way he will use it. He'll make
But
Kim listen to it.
well, Kim already knew, but
Yeah.
Chuck doesn't know that.
Yeah, I guess you figured that out. But he's gonna do. They keep doing the Kim thing. Go after Kim and
I
make
think
her unhappy, make Jimmy unhappy.
I think what's going to happen is that Chuck is going to have Kim make Kim lose her license, and that's going to take its toll on Jimmy, and that's when he's going to become Saul.
Mm.
And they say, of course, Jimmy doesn't get disbarred. Well, maybe he did and Saul didn't.
Yeah.
You know, maybe
Oh my God. This
What
was
maybe
such
if?
a
it's not
great
even
scene.
a legal name change.
Hmm. What if Jimmy gets disbarred and he fakes a degree and becomes Saul Goodman?
Hmm.
Fakes a law degree.
Well, don't forget, remember he said something about, was it the American Samoan University or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he can pass the bar.
Hmm.
That's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do. Is pass
Yep.
the bar. You technically don't have to go to law school as long as you pass the bar, but it kind of helps to go to law school.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
but
two
yeah,
cliffhangers.
this
Gus,
was a phenomenal season of Better Call
Mm-hmm.
Saul. This was just
Yeah.
tremendous. It really was.
I
Of
just can't
course,
wait for season 3.
the parallel story with Mike and the whole Salamanca thing. Oh my God, yes,
don't.
great,
Oh, yeah.
great,
That was.
great stuff. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My prediction for season 3, Gus. We're going to see Gus.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think so
Even if
too.
we
I
don't
think
see Gus, we're going to see some of his associates.
Yeah.
yeah. We
At
basically
least that, and his name will be tossed around a little bit, and then someday when we least expect it, he'll appear.
He might
yeah.
show
But
up in
make
the
sure we
finale of
least
season 3.
expect it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think they want to do a slow burn with how they introduce Gus. They
Yeah.
don't want to just pop him in right away. They want to do a slow
Mm-hmm.
burn. They want to do an
Right.
introduction. It's like a building it up, which is
Mm-hmm.
what they're excellent at doing that on Better Call Saul. They were great at doing it on Breaking Bad too,
Mm-hmm.
because Shane and I at first we thought maybe when Mike was in the diner and we saw the preview of somebody talking to him, he says, "Do I know you?" I thought at first it was Gus.
Yeah, I thought so too. But then I told you, what if it's Hector? And I was dead on.
You were, yeah. It's
Dead
Tio.
on.
It's Tio. Yeah.
But oof, season. All right, so that's it for Better Call Saul. We're gonna do a
Yeah.
big break.
Yeah.
We'll be back in October for episode 2 of season 5 of Breaking Bad, and that is
Yeah.
what is episode 2? Magical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lydia.
Magical. Right? Yeah. That name it plays into something.
Yeah.
That
From what's yet to
yeah.
come.
Yes.
But let's see here. When
Mm.
does Walking Dead come back?
October. Oh, but I
October
don't.
9th.
October
They
9th?
have
October
a
9th.
date already? Really?
Well,
Oh,
Alright.
it,
oh,
it,
oh,
it,
oh, oh, oh.
it's
So
always the
Glenn.
second. It's
Sorry.
always the second. It's always the second Sunday of October, which would be October 9th.
It used to
So
coincide with Halloween. But Stephen Yoon is in a movie that's just starting production, and some of it's going to be filmed in South Korea. So, logistics, because let's see, it's April, so it's 6 months before, less than 6 months before it comes back.
Mm-hmm.
well, they're going to start shooting the new season this summer, so or maybe late
Yeah,
spring.
yeah, they have to do it in the summer because they need that
Mm-hmm.
post-production time for October. So I wonder.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Really interesting. All right, so
Yep.
we'll be back on October 15th.
Yep.
Because if Walking Dead comes on the 9th, we'll discuss it on the 15th. Hopefully it's good. Don't
Yeah.
disappoint. Hopefully don't disappoint. If this is the big disappointment like that season finale, I'm going to tap out.
You know what's gonna have to begin
I,
with? With a nice black and white flash forward of
Yeah.
Gene.
That would be great.
Better Call. Oh yeah, for Better Call Saul for next season. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you were talking about The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Walking Dead. Oh, I think they said they weren't gonna mess with us. That they weren't gonna like show other stuff, like do 3 episodes of Carol Morgan and the guys from the Kingdom. You
Hmm.
know, before you go back, they're gonna let us know as soon as we get back.
I
And
hope so.
That teaser
it's
better pick right up where they
it's
left
gonna
off.
be it's gonna be emotional, and I've come to the conclusion that I mean, as long as it's a major, level one
Hmm.
character, A team, then it's going to be really, really emotional. And I mean, like if it's Glenn, because people keep saying, well, why would they do a cliffhanger since he died in the comics? It's still going to be emotional. Just picture Maggie, and it's going to be emotional. The whole group.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean they
Well,
got to do a main cast member for me. If they don't do a main cast member, I'm gonna tap out. It's got to be
Isn't
somebody
that
like
weird? Because
Daryl
you
or
don't want to lose
Glenn.
a main cast member, but for the integrity of the show,
Hmm.
it needs to be. It's
Because
weird.
you've got to establish Negan as the badass he is.
Right,
And to establish that, you've got to kill off a major cast member.
right. And like, be like if it were Eugene, be like, oh, okay, Eugene, I liked him and all, but thank goodness it wasn't so and so and so and so and so and so. So
Hmm.
yeah.
it's got to
What
be
was you gonna
somebody
say,
big.
Ian?
I mean, that would be. I think that would be a major letdown if it was like a B level
Total cop out.
character. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not sure Abraham is A-team.
Nah.
I don't
No,
really think he is.
I don't think his death would be as impactful as, let's
Right.
say,
Hmm.
a Glenn or a
Right.
Daryl.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. A-team as
I mean,
far as
it has to be somebody from day one.
lovability index and not like
Hmm.
fighting power, because obviously he's a warrior.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys have an awesome
All right.
summer.
You
You
too.
too,
You
Ellen.
too. So we'll be back October 15th with episode 2 and hopefully a good Walking Dead. All right. Good night,
Take care,
everybody.
guys.
Good night.